welcome to another video. So today, as you can see by the title of this video, it is going to be a conspiracy theory video. Now, I know what you're saying. Julian too is the conspiracy person. Well, you know what? He hasn't posted a video in 3 weeks, and I really want to make a video about this. I don't think he's going to because he kind of disappeared. And honestly, I mean, this is exciting. I mean, look at him. Look at that dude right there. Look at that dude. He is protecting some pretty cool secrets down there, and I want to dive into them and figure out what they all mean. So, today, I'm talking about what happened. Like, what happened? I don't know. We're gonna find out what happened, but something happened. I don't really know how to do conspiracy theory videos. I've watched a few of Shane's, actually all of them, because they're like my favorite thing to watch on YouTube. So I think I might have a handle on things, but I have no idea. So do I give the conspiracy theory a name? Okay, how it all went down. That's the name of this conspiracy. How it all went down, okay? Because I'm gonna be telling you guys how this stuff went down. Like, how did Zaios leave? Why did he leave? And why did Mira leave? What happened? Like, I don't know, but we're gonna dive into it, okay? We're gonna go and discover the deeper meaning behind all of these messages down here. Because we have 1, 2, and then you come over here.
All the way over here, up this hill thing.
And then you have 3, 4, and 5. So, gonna dive in. We're gonna discover what they mean. We're gonna dig. Okay, that's what this video is today. Alright, so first kind of mini theory before we dive into my actual theory about this whole thing is, I think all of these are in chronological order. Like, it starts up here at the very beginning, and then this is the part 2, and then part 3, part 4, part 5. So that's basically what this theory is relying on, that these are all in chronological order, because otherwise I have no idea. Let's just hope that they're all in chronological order, otherwise my theory is completely debunked. Feel free to add on to this theory, by the way, in the comment section down below. I'm just kind of going off of what I know here, and I'm gonna try my hand at a few facts, okay? So, let's go. And starting with part 1. A dark shadow is creeping across the land, and I fear this new threat may be more terrible than any Jama has ever seen. And from what we see from the book title, it's from A Complete History of Jama, volume XXIV, which, if you don't know, that's Roman numerals for the number 24. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Bepper, why did you even bother to mention that? That doesn't really affect anything whatsoever. Like, the 24th volume, yeah, what's so special about it? There is something very special about it, actually. So the title is A Complete History of Jama. So, the entire history of Jama, volume 24. So that means there are 23 that came before that. Yet this threat is a new threat, so it's never been seen before in those 23 volumes before. And it is more terrible than any threat Jama has ever seen. For 24 entire volumes! So, I mean, that's pretty big. This means that that cloud thing right there, that is like terrifying. Like, absolutely terrifying. What is that? I don't know what that is, but it's scary, okay? That's what it is. It's scary. Now, I actually have a theory as to what this dark shadow creeping across the land might be. I don't think it's an actual cloud, as illustrated in this photo, but I think it might actually be a metaphorical cloud. On page 7 of Animal Jam's book Call of the Alphas, it says, as time went on, seeds of suspicion began to bloom in their hearts. The cheetahs became convinced the tigers envied their speed. The nervous raccoons told themselves the wolves looked rather shifty. The foxes' tall tails began to irritate the lions, who were starting to think foxes lied a little too naturally. Soon, not a single species trusted another. And then on page 8, it says, it was during this time of division that a new threat began to creep its slimy tentacles into Jama, a horde of evil phantoms. So in this section right here, I don't think they're actually talking about the phantoms, just the way that they describe it as a shadow and a cloud, whereas the phantoms, they come in giant robot things, so that would definitely not be a cloud, and they came in a horde, which is also not a cloud. It's just kind of a bunch of things all together. The way they describe it, I think it might actually just be referencing how all the animals are dividing amongst themselves. And on to part 2, it says, and so it was that Mira and I were charged with watching over this land and protecting all those who dwell here. Now, Mira and Zaios had to watch over this land and protect it. So what are they protecting those who live here from? They're protecting them from the phantoms who emerged after the animals stopped trusting one another. So what were they doing to protect us from the phantoms? Obviously, they were not helping us fight them. We can see in the adventures, the only ones who help us truly fight the phantoms are the alphas. So if they were the ones charged with protecting the land, how are they doing it? How are they protecting the land? Well, I will tell you. The way they protected the land was creating the archives. The Forgotten Archive is how Mira and Zaios banded together to protect the land. Because as we know from the adventures, we're keeping them at bay, but really they're still here. And I think their part in this was creating the archives for us to one day find so that we could realize that all of this is just because it started out of us not trusting one another. So the archives opened up and we read all this stuff. We realize it's because we didn't trust each other in the beginning that the Phantoms came. So everyone is banding together again and we're all going to trust each other yet again. And that will eventually stop the Phantoms from coming into Jama, because we'll fight them as one united force. But I'll get into that in just a moment. So there we go. Now we are moving on past this adventure base camp stuff and all the way up to part 3. It is my hope that the history of Jama may be preserved so that future generations may learn from past mistakes, from Jama's past, present, and future. Now first we're going to talk about the book title, Jama's past, present, and future. If it were just for the people who lived back then, it'd be Jama's past and present. But it's not. It's Jama's past, present, and future. So this book was deliberately written for us to find years later. And why would that be? Did they just give up all hope? That's what I'm thinking happened, because they're saying we should learn from our past mistakes. What was our past mistake? Our past mistake was not trusting each other, and that's what allowed the Phantoms to come in. So they're saying if we learn from this past mistake, if we learn and trust each other again, then that is what will get the Phantoms permanently out of Jama. Now on to part 4, which is where it gets really creepy. The ancient lines of power that flow throughout Jama can be used for good, but they can also be drawn upon for a darker purpose from the natural wonders of Jama. Now in this section, they're saying it can be used for good, which is good. That's good news. It can be used for good, but the worst news is it can also be drawn upon for a darker purpose, aka Phantoms can use it. So yet again, this is just solidifying the theory that if we're not all trusting of each other, and if we don't all work together to use these power lines, or whatever they're called, then the Phantoms can take us one by one again, just as they did back then, and they'll use those for a darker purpose, and they'll ultimately destroy Jama if we don't trust each other, which is the main point of this theory. My goodness. And finally, part 5. I will soon seal this archive from the world. The next time these words are read, the eclipse will have passed, and the next chapter of our story will begin. From Zyos' journal. Now clearly this is the last thing that Zyos ever wrote and possibly was ever put into the archive before it was sealed. And in this entry, he says this is when the next chapter of our story will begin. So he puts all these books in this archive. He lets us learn from them, learn from our past mistakes, learn to trust each other again, and then, and only then, will the next chapter of our story begin. What is the next chapter of our story? What happens when we no longer have to deal with the Phantoms? Will new lands open up? Will new animals be discovered? I don't know. A lot could happen, but what I'm thinking is that this was for us to learn from. He didn't just create a random archive and seal it off. This was his grand plan. This was how he protected us from the Phantoms. Yes, it may have taken a while for us to figure it out and find it and for the eclipse to happen and all of that. But coming back to part 2. And so it was that Mira and I were charged with watching over this land and protecting all those who dwell here. This is how they protected us. They never disappeared. They were always here in Jama, waiting for the eclipse to come and waiting for us to discover this and waiting for us to discover that it's truly the trust we need to have in each other. We need to love each other again for the Phantoms to disappear. And truthfully, the cloud that came over Jama, the shadow all along this entire time, has been us not being united. And that is the theory, girls and boys. And that, my folks, is the theory. I tried my best, so I hope you enjoyed it. That's the first theory I've ever come up with on my own. 100% me, copyrighted Bepper 2017. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below. And tell me what you think about Mira and Zyos in the comment section down below. Do you think they just abandoned us for no reason? Or do you think this was truly what their plan was all along? And anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. Good luck.
Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. I've been feeling it since 1966. Might be over now, but I feel it still.
Now, if you're still watching after all that, I just wanted to let you guys know that on Friday, September 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be going live on YouTube. So if you want to join me, go ahead and set it in your calendar because I want you guys there. There will be giveaways, there will be Q&As, and there will be mail time and stuff like that. So if you want to join me for the fun, go ahead and be there. And anyways, thank you for watching. Goodbye.